We're rolling.
And are we live?
And we should be live.
Let us do the traditional testing of the sound and see if anyone can hear us.
Hi, can you hear us?
Or if this podcast will have to be conducted entirely through the medium of mime. Let's find out.
We're live and audible.
Hooray. Hooray. Everything's fine. Then, hello, Failbetterinos. Everyone is now Failbetterinos, and you're just going to have to deal with that. I'm here with Les today to talk about our new trade system in Sunless Skies, which we've been working on very hard and been testing and fixing bugs, and will undoubtedly test more and find more bugs and fix those as well. So yeah, what we wanted to do today was give you a little walkthrough of the system so you can see what you can expect, and there's a few little cookies to reveal in here as well, I think. So feel free to ask us questions as you see stuff happening in chat, and there's a little delay, but when we see them we will happily answer them for you.
Right.
Should we do the thing?
Yes, we're going
Press
to
the
switch
button.
over.
Take us to the skies.
Ta-da!
We are aloft. Behold the skies.
Can you guys see the game?
Please tell us if you can see these splendid vistas. Can I ask about Fallen London? Not right now, no. Maybe at the end. They can? Okay, everyone can see it, so excellent.
Awesome.
So here we are in New Winchester. I think we'll talk about the engine when we launch, I think. So New Winchester is the major port in the Reach. It's the central port, the hub port. And the hub port is kind of where the trade system begins from. So first we'll just show you there's a little tutorial to add to the trade system, which we'll show you. So at Wolsey Station now, sorry, trying to talk and read at the same time, very difficult. There is now a new pub called the Promise of Days, where a number of seasoned captains, a couple of whom might be familiar, are prepared to offer you advice. Do you want to just show them the... Yeah, click it there, that's fine. Yeah. We'll probably end up putting more kind of tutorial stuff on here as the game goes on, and there'll be a few quests kind of connected to these characters as well, and I will show you.
I can sort that. I did turn it down, but
It's going down.
Oh, that's 0%.
That's 0.
How's that?
See if that's an improvement.
You know what? I might turn the sound effects right.
Yeah, let's do
down
that as well, just so we don't deafen people with cannon fire.
Oh, that'll be fine.
Okay, is that a better improvement? Much better, there we go, lovely. Okay, yes, so the Promise of Days here is going to act as a little kind of mini tutorial hub where we can introduce different systems and we can hook some quests into here. Do you want to just introduce yourself to the seasoned captains a moment? So once you've introduced yourself to them, we don't feel the need to leave this open. If people want to read all this, they can watch it on YouTube and pause it. We like to make people work for our secrets. Yeah, and there you go. Then that'll unlock the guide to trade. We're not going to do the tutorial now. We want to leave that for people to play through themselves. But we are going to go over to the bazaar and show you what the trade system looks like. So the new trade system, we've done a whole bunch of stuff for this. We've changed how the shops work. We've simplified a lot of the shops and the sort of commodities that are traded in. I can talk more about those changes later if people are interested. And that's to make room, to kind of free up some complexity budget, I guess. To let us do prospects and bargains. So here at the hub, if you come to the bazaar, you will see a number of prospects available when you visit. There's normally 3 available, and these change every month of game time, which is about half an hour of playing. So if you don't take any of these, after half an hour they'll change, and you'll see different ones. And prospects represent news or word or rumours of someone offering a really good price for a specific trade good at a distant port. and if you see one you're interested in, you can accept it. Should we accept one now so people can see us doing that? There we go. And that will then appear on your hold. There we go. So that section there is for your prospects, and you can mouse over to get a summary of what you're meant to be doing. So these will tell you where you need to go, what people need, and how many of the trade good they want. So this one, someone at Magdalen's wants verdant seeds, and they want up to 3. You can bring them all 3, or you can bring them 1 or 2. You don't have to deliver all 3 at the same time. Once you've accepted a prospect, it's banked. No other captain can take it. It's stored there until you complete it. And if you want, you can throw it away. We'll just show you how to do that when we know that. There you go. You can discard that if you want, which we will not do. You might, yes, you can get a good look there at the engine we're flying, which is one of our top of the line locomotives. That is the Moloch for captains who enjoy a certain sense of luxurious comfort and don't mind the smell of brimstone. As you can see, it has got whiffles of cargo space. Whiffles is definitely an appropriate word to use in this context. So if we just take the remaining prospects, we'll hoover all those up. We've got all those. Lovely. And they'll all now be stored on our hold screen. So prospects will pay you a much better price for the good that they're after. So shall we set out into the skies? You at New Winchester now, at the hub ports, you don't buy goods. You can sell any good that you've got at any hub, at any major port, for a base price. But if you want to buy stuff, you have to go to one of the outlying ports, one of the minor ones, which we're heading off to now. In extreme comfort, the Moloch has plush carpets you can lose entire toes in. So each minor port sells a single trade good now, so it's just easy to remember what sells what, and they all sell it at the same basic price. So an easy way to kind of complete a prospect is to work out which port sells a good that is needed for that prospect. Go there, stock up, head to the place you need to deliver it to. But there are some more wrinkles than that. We are approaching Port Avon through the mists. I'll just check if we've got anything to respond to. The Moloch is terribly expensive, and so will be probably quite tricky to earn in game at the moment, but hopefully the trade system will make it easier. Here comes Port Avon. Where's the dot gone?
Oh, it's there.
Oh, there it is.
Turn myself around.
Yes, we did intentionally call the bazaar as a kind of reference to the bazaar in Fallen London, just because we can't help ourselves. So here we are at Port Avon, which has its own bazaar. So the bazaars at minor ports don't offer prospects, they offer bargains, and we can see a couple of bargains here. If we take a look at, yes, that first one, an horticultural opportunity. So this is how bargains work. You can see this person is selling a sack of verdant seeds. They can sell, they've got 3 of them to sell. That's the little number at the bottom of the icon. You can buy 1, or you can buy all of them. It's entirely up to you. And they are at a much cheaper price. I think sacks of verdant seed normally go for 40. 40, yeah. Yeah, 40 sovereigns. But when they're available as a bargain, they're worth 10. And there's also let us deliver these little kind of snippets of story as well, which has turned out to be this really nice place to put kind of setting details that don't fit elsewhere in the game, in kind of more intense stories in. We can just drop all sorts of kind of diffuse storytelling in these little things. There is a mistake here. You may spot the deliberate mistake. It's not deliberate, but we will fix it now. There's a prospect here for bronzewood, and you can buy bargain bronzewood here. And the rule should be that you can't buy the good at the place you're selling it to. So we will be making a small change there.
Well, for now, we will totally exploit
But
this
now
advantage.
we will definitely exploit this in order to show you what happens. So there's the bronzewood being poured again at a bargain price. The price of all goods has be changed as a result of this.
This is interesting
update.
though, because I think this prospect asks for 5, and I've only been.
Oh, you've only
the
got 3.
bargain there was only 3.
I
so
shouldn't
can
have said
only-
anything. I should have claimed
Oh,
that was
yeah,
completely intentional.
It was not a bug. It was
Please
a
ignore the
feature.
last 3 minutes.
So they want 5. I've
But
only got.
this is a really useful way to show how much. So bought at 100 each, and you're selling at 295. So that's a big chunk of profit. Because we wanted the trading system now to be trading in Sunless Sea tended to be quite a kind of steady incremental gain as you travelled around. As you called at ports, you'd buy and sell, and you just have this steady kind of drip increase. And prospect and bargains should feel more like kind of feast or famine. And when things are going well, you should feel like Scrooge McDuck and you're wallowing in baths full of money. And when things aren't going well, you should feel like Delboy Trotter and everything's going disastrously wrong. So what have we got here? So we've got and the bargains here work kind of like the prospects do at hubs. So these ones will be available for 30 days, and once you've if you come back after 30 days, you'll see different ones. There is a whole system that regulates what bargains can appear at what ports, which I will say more about a bit later, I think. But here at Port Avon, you're likely to see bargains that fit with kind of a rural setting. There might be some that will only ever appear at Port Avon. You might also be able to see ones that are associated with Bohemians, I think. I can't remember if it's Bohemians or the establishment. But particular factions might be aligned with certain ports, so you might see bargains associated with them. We were going to head off somewhere else, weren't we?
Well, we've just picked up the seeds from this place that we can. Well, picked up
We
some
have.
seeds, and Magdalene's want seeds.
There we go.
So there we are, and I think this should have updated now. So
Yeah.
that's an update that we still need to drop off to Bronzewood at
Yes.
Port Avon.
Yeah.
If we can get back here in time, right?
Yes. No. Once you've banked a prospect, it stays. So as long as you keep that prospect, you can hand it in at any time. There might be occasional tweaks like that. There might be occasions where if you deliver something quickly, you get if you can satisfy a prospect quickly, you get more rewards. We'll talk a bit more about that when we complete that Magdalene's prospect.
So
I think.
we'll head off
Yeah.
and discover Magdalene's now.
Ooh, is this an opportunity to show the map changes? So, yes, here now, if you click on a port, like Port Avon, you get a little pop-up, there we go, which tells you a little bit about the port, so it's easy to remember what does what, because there's a lot of ports in the game. And it also tells you what good they export. So at Port Avon, you can always buy from the market jumbles of indistinguished souls for their base price. If there are new bargains available at a port since you last visited, you also get a little notification in that pop-up, so you know that it's time to go back and see what's available.
Right, off we go.
Off to Moorlands. I'll just see if there's any comments to catch up on. Yes, the Moloch is called Temperance. That was a completely random name generation, but it was so perfect we thought we'd leave it. I think I'm about to write a character called the Temperate Devil into another bit of content as well. Right,
This is their shirt.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
I've been meaning to ask for a while, when can I get those miners I left on the Mother of Mountains some nice warm winter coats? You cannot. That's not, this is, yeah.
I don't know if that is the same person who has said that to us on the forums, but they were like, oh, you're so caring. They were
So
like,
caring,
can I take
but
them blankets
that's
and
not.
warm winter woolies? And I'm like, no, they have to freeze to death.
Yeah, this is not how you treat your crew. Your crew have to learn discipline. They have to learn to do what they're told. And a little bit of freezing to death will do them the power of good. It's character building.
It is. Send out the bat.
Get a load of those pretty backgrounds. Yeah, we're watching this on a ludicrously enormous screen, and they do look really splendid.
Aha.
Oh, the bat spotted something. Just checking if there's any more comments. There's also a little function that I think is going up in this build, which is a directions edition. Yeah. So in the procedural generation system, shuffles all the segments, so you never know where ports are going to appear. And it used to be the case that we always knew where one port was going to appear, which was Port Prosper. So we thought that's a brilliant place to put our tutorial quest, and we can say head northeast to Port Prosper and do the tutorial quest. And then we put our new prop gen system in, and Port Prosper started to move. So we had to take that reference out of the tutorial quest. But now we've got a lovely little system where we can enter a little token into the game, and it will give you directions. Woo! Oh. They're firing, sir, they're firing. No, they're all right. It'll give you directions to where you want to go. So now you'll be able to have directions in all your... it'll appear in your journal for quests, and it'll appear in the descriptions of quests when you're collecting them. And just as an example of how that works, it gives you the orientation in terms of north, east, northeast, northeast, and a rough distance, a long way or some way from the hub of that region. So you still have to do some exploring and kind of find it yourself. We wanted that sense of kind of exploration and you working out which way you had to go. But it's nice clear directions that will always help you track down where you need to go for a quest. So here we are at Maudlin's, and we have one pending prospect that we can, I think, complete. So we can drop off there and we can sell all our stacks of verdant seeds. You can tell that some one at a time or all in one go. And when you are able to completely fulfill the supply for a prospect, you get an extra little bit of text, and you might get an extra reward. So in this case, the amenable host is very happy that you're able to provide everything they wanted, and they give you 100 sovereigns. That you've got a lot of sovereigns.
I legitimately earned
Did you?
All of that
every single one of them earned through hard graft. Yes, definitely not through debug. And those completions, that's where occasionally we might do some slightly fruity things, like say if you were able to complete this before a certain time, you get an extra reward, or we can tailor it on some other. We can base it on. We can feed our quality systems into that, so we can occasionally do some interesting things on the completions. Could you just open your character screen?
I will. I'm just going to buy these.
Oh yeah, buy away.
Because we can take advantage.
This is how you have 900,000 sovereigns.
Exactly.
Because this focused business acumen.
Yeah. My profile, is that what you wanted?
Yes, and the affiliations. There we go. So bargains and prospects, in addition to being tagged to different ports, so different ones can appear at different ports, we can put requirements on them. So some of them might only unlock after certain events have occurred, or a whole bunch of them unlock based on your affiliations. So your affiliations represent who you spend time with, who your circles are, who your friends are, what kind of circles you move in. And you get these based on your origin and the choices you make in character progression as you level up. Each facet you take affects your stats, and some of them will also increase your affiliations. So if you spent time in prison, you'll probably gain some criminal affiliations. And as your affiliations rise, they will unlock new bargains and prospects. And the higher your affiliation, the more profitable those bargains and prospects. So they might want more of a good delivery, so allowing you to earn that profit margin for on more cargo. They might offer better prices. They might deal in a good that is particularly rewarding as a prospect, or one that's particularly rewarding as a bargain. Or they might have some other little tweaks to them. So as you level your character, that will start to affect the sort of opportunities for profit that you see as you play through the game.
Talking of opportunities for profit.
Oh, yeah. Are you off again?
Do I have room? No, I'm like, let's get these as well. We'll make a killing somewhere.
Okay. Oh, should we just show them the exchange now as well?
Yeah.
So the exchange is the market. And you can see here the market is super much simplified. You can always buy fuel and supplies at a market, and they always sell one good, and that's the good that appears on the map pop-up when you click on it. There we go. as given example of. So I think that's kind of the overview of the bargains and prospects system. So we want to create this feeling that you're like a small independent trader, that the main kind of trade routes, that's the province of the big companies. That they've kind of got those locked down. But you, the player, are kind of small and nimble. You can identify opportunities and you can exploit those opportunities. And we wanted to reward knowledge of the game and the skies, where you can find certain goods, how to what affiliations kind of fit your character build. If you find a particularly good way of getting a particular trade good, you might want more ways to unlock prospects that require it. And we wanted it to change a lot, so the bargains and the prospects that are available will shift, and that will change what the kind of respective profit values of different bits of the map are at any moment. Prospects and bargains. Prospects generally won't take you out of the region; they're normally within region. You can normally complete them within region.
Will there eventually be ones that go across regions?
Because they share the same kind of fairly small group of cargo requirements, effectively yes. You'll probably pick up a prospect in one region, and while you're in another region you'll find a cheap way to get the good that fulfills it. Each region deal sells a reliable subset of our overall goods, so the Reach deals in souls, bronzewood, seeds, stuff like that. Whereas Albion would deal in literature, maybe munitions, things like that. So each one deals in a subset, but bargains can offer you anything. Bargains aren't constrained by region. If a bargain offers you munitions, you can still find that bargain in the region. So I'll just have a scan over and see if we've got anything to respond to. That was indeed a monstrous number of sovereigns. The debug. We have really nice debug tools. They make.
He's lying.
I'm
just
things.
A really shrewd businesswoman.
Sorry. Yes, Les is just that good. Oh yeah, is this people's first glimpse of the new UI as well?
Well, if they've been, because we put the proc gen out last week.
Yeah.
And of course we put it onto a different branch, so if people have changed branches and had a nosy, they will have seen it already. Okay.
But yes, this is the new version, so you can see your fuel and supplies are now on those little bars on the left and right of the whole readout. Terror and condition are kind of a bit more clearly displayed at the top right there, so you can see terror rising and condition ticking up. And we've got crew and cargo space underneath it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and it's got the lovely Art Nouveau twiddly bits, which we I just want to put on everything.
We just like them.
Yeah, we just like them. Put them on that rock. You can do with the twiddly bit.
There we go.
The current locomotive is called the Moloch, which is, I believe, the one that was unlocked as a Kickstarter goal. Yeah. I'm very glad we made that Kickstarter goal because look, it looks splendid. Look at the fins. I think this was a Toby design.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very pretty.
I think the art brief was basically just make something really sexy.
Oh, so this is where we got our new prop gen system in. Oh, yeah. This confuses me so much because the ports, no matter what segment they used to be in, they were always aligned the same way.
Yes,
and
now they can rotate to different angles.
And I'm like, where's the dock?
Yeah, yeah. Which is one of those interesting things where we talked about segments rotating, and we said, oh yeah, that'll be great. Things will just appear at different orientations. That'll be quite fun. And Paul pointed out that actually sometimes art just breaks if you turn it upside down. So yeah, Paul and Toby have had to kind of go over and look for specific bits that don't work at different orientations, like the Regent's Grave in Traitor's Wood.
Oh yeah.
This kind of gated cave really only read when it was upright, and when you appeared sideways or upside down, it just looked completely indecipherable. So yeah, there's a few art changes being made to accommodate this.
Situation here where they want 5 and I've only got 3, but I've still made a good price on that.
Yeah, you don't have to complete Prospect. If you find something else that looks more profitable, you could get rid of that one and take a new one. Prospects are kind of balanced, so even if you're not fulfilling the whole demand for them, they're still giving you a really good profit. Indigo's pointing out that I make money pretty steadily gaining salon-stewed gossip from the Windward Company or other sources, trading them for Welcome at Port Avon, and then piling up visions of heaven at the Cyclopean ruins by trading Welcome, then selling those back to Madame Lumiere's at New Winchester. Enjoy that while you can. Some of these things might change a little bit, especially how we handle those non-cargo goods. We definitely want you to be able to trade those in for, so by non-cargo goods I mean things like the vision of the heavens, you know, something that doesn't take up cargo space but has value. We definitely want to give you opportunity to trade those in, but we don't want them to replace the trade system. So we might be making some tweaks to how they work. I'm most excited for discoveries. Yes, I am also very excited for discoveries. They're looking pretty cool. This is a nice. This is a fairly recent asset. I think this is.
Oh no! I've just wandered into a nest of.
Yes. So this is. Oh, look at you! It's almost like you play this game all the time. Yeah, Kenyon's hand here. This is a load of the distressed buildings. One of the things we felt when we were doing segment design for the Reach was we had all these beautiful intact ports, and it didn't feel dangerous enough. So we've added in some places like that show the kind of story of failed colonies. That kind of the idea is a minority of colonies that are founded as successful, and most of them end up like poor Kenyans down there. And yeah, places like that are the sort of places that marauders like to hang out and cause bother. So we were saying discoveries. Yes, there's a bunch of discoveries being worked on at the moment. So some of them are discoveries that will trigger content, and some of them won't. They'll work more like the things in the Mariner, where you could zoom over something and pick it up. Yeah, we've got a mix of the two, and they. What else can I say about them? James has been working this week on the wreck of the Boatman, which is one of the legendary wrecks that was unlocked by the Kickstarter campaign, and that's got a really nice story to it. I think that it was a necropolis engine that, because there's no place to bury your dead in London. They fill that up pretty quickly, which means they tend to, if you're rich, you can go and have your body committed to a special graveyard. Olivia is trying to distract us by wearing an amusing hat, but it will not work because Olivia always wears a silly hat, and we are used to it.
Teasers with cookies now.
The Boatman was one of the necropolis engines that would carry bodies from London to these designated cemeteries, which were a real historical thing, and you could, when your relative died, you could pay for them to go on one of these engines and taken to a cemetery, and you could pay for the corpse to go first class, second class, or third class.
That's so grim.
It's really grim, yeah. And the story of the Boatman, according to legend, as old skyfarers say, the dead on the Boatman awoke one day and commandeered the vessel and flew it off into a corner of the sky.
Amazing. There we go.
What else have we got? If anyone finds Barcelar's Folly, please screenshot it. Yeah, I am always passing Barcelar's Folly. I can't remember where it is, but it is definitely in there. And worried it might be a little too easy to profit. It might be at the moment. We're going to see how this goes, but we have plenty of tools to tweak that. We can affect what the kind of nature of bargains and prospects are, and also the easiest thing we can do is increase the price of stuff. And in particular, the prices of like equipment that we put on stuff for early access was very low because we knew that the trade system wasn't in yet. So expect all that to change anyway.
I think all these prices would probably, like you say, change nothing is set in stone.
Yeah.
And then that's the whole point as well of
early
having
access.
early access,
Yeah.
and that's why we want you to talk to us on the forums. I will be putting up a thread about prospects and bargains, so that when we launch this build, you know, you guys can go there and tell us what you think once you've played it a little bit, and whether you think it's too easy, it's too hard, it's just right. Any other feedback, just throw it all in that one thread, and then we can look at that.
And there are some kind of chokes on it. Your bargains and prospects only refresh every half hour or so. That's another value we'll be able to change. So once if you've done all 3 prospects, you're going to have to wait a while for them to come back. You can still make money from buying stuff as bargains and then selling it at the hub, but that provides much less profit.
I'm going to go back to New Interest now, see if I can pick up some. It won't be a bargain, but like some bronze wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they
won't sell it at New Winchester.
No,
Traitors Wood, you'll want.
Oh, I'm not going all the way out there. There may be no reason for me to go back to New Winchester then, but I may head there anyway. But this may be a good time for us to talk about those bugs that we were speaking about earlier.
Yes.
To do with the sovereigns on the.
Yes, that's right. So there's been some, let's say, very clear player feedback that players would like to see their sovereigns displayed in some other places, like on the shop interface. And we've currently got a bug that's in this build. We'll be working on it, but you'll see this initially, where if you have your hold open while you're doing bargains and prospects, the contents of your hold won't update live. So you'll be gaining the sovereigns, but it won't show that in your hold.
And they were existing bugs, which we fixed in, I can't remember if it was the last build or the one before that. And we fixed them. And the same with the possessions interface, which has got the sovereigns in. So you can have that open at the moment at the same time as a shop or a storylet. And now it will update. But we've got these same issues with the bazaar interface, and we were going to fix them. And then, because we know that everybody wants the sovereigns on the shop interface anyway, we were like, well, this is the perfect time to also to address that, but also to put them on the bazaar interface as well.
Yeah.
And as part of that, we're like, well, rather than do these little bits and bobs here and there, we're going to address this all together. Yeah. And I actually don't think that we're going to have time to put this out, to fix that for this build, but that will be in the next one. And I'm sure everybody's very happy to know that very soon the sovereigns will appear on the shop and the bazaar interface, so you don't have to open a second one.
Soon you will know how much change you get when you buy things. Yes. We have a question there. Are we doing crafting like the intelligence items from SS? Yes, not quite like in Sunless Skies, but the Royal Society, I believe, has a kind of crafting system, which is quite cool.
Oh, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stock up, because our everybody can probably see we've got different shops now. So a lot of the old shops have sort of been retired, haven't they? Yeah. We've got new shops, and my crew are going to starve soon. So.
Oh yeah, that's a problem. You can't give them warm woolly coats, but you can feed them.
You can feed them.
Yeah.
We'll do that. That will do. And this is also where.
Here you go. Yes, this is where you can sell basically anything. Any item of cargo you can sell at any hub. So if you're able to find something as a bargain somewhere, you can always bring it back to the hub and sell it here for a bit of profit.
So that's everything.
Everything, yeah.
But you should ideally put these things in your bank, store them, squirrel them away, and then make a profit later somewhere.
Somewhere else, yes. You can store stuff in your bank, so you can keep it, and then you can, if a useful prospect comes up, you can complete them. And that's actually another kind of choke on the profit. How fast you can earn profit in this is your cargo space, because obviously the Moloch here has whiffles of it, but the spatchcock does not. No. So it's quite tricky to complete a full prospect in a single run. It can be tricky with a spatchcock. The smaller ones you can do, the ones that only want 3 of a thing, that's not too bad. But the ones that want 5 or 7 or 9 are going to be harder. So that will involve some back and forth if you want to complete the whole thing. Will the Royal Society be integrated into the Reach? We have moved the Royal Society to Albion because we thought it made more sense. and there was already quite a lot in the Reach, and it is meant to be a wilderness, so we didn't want it to feel too overcrowded. So yes, we've moved the Royal Society to Albion. We've got the actual port model and everything already. It's gorgeous.
I've not seen that
gorgeous. And yes, James has been working on the content for that one this last couple of weeks.
Oh, my data's been hidden by the... So, is there anything left for us to do?
I don't think so. I'm just trying to think if there's anything we haven't covered. I think that's basically it. I think
some good bargains there.
Yeah, and what we've done at the moment is we've put a bunch of bargains and some prospects in, which is like a sample that we want people to test out, and then we will add more, and we'll add more for different regions, and we'll add more for this region, and we'll add more that are unlocked as your affiliations go up. So yes, what you're getting to start with is kind of a slice of what's going to be in the final game.
And it's not quite been a month yet, so I can't. I could change it through debug, but I don't want to do that. But I was hoping there that.
Well, it would tick over.
Look, it's only the 4th of April, and I think when you start the game, it's the 14th of March.
Yeah. Yeah. Just trying to think if there's anything else we've been working on. We've been writing a bunch of those floaty text messages for discoveries lately as well. We like those floaty text messages. We basically want to put them everywhere. We can't, just can't resist them.
So I just thought of something and then it's gone. So, oh no, here we go.
Oh, here we go, Fastidious Inspector.
So you've all seen this before, but what you haven't seen is what Chris was talking about earlier on. This is such a massive deal and so exciting to us, and it's just going to be such a disappointment to everyone who's, let's face it, normal. Well, no, maybe some of our players like us are not quite normal, because this is something that a lot of people have actually said on the forums, that like, can you give me even a rough idea of where this port might be? We're in good company. I think quite a lot of people so there we go. I would be surprised if even those people were as excited about this as I am. Right, probably right. But yeah, there we go. Prosper lies a long way to the north of New Winchester. That is being dynamically generated based on where Prosper lies in this segment, and it will also appear if. Can you open your journal? Oh, is it going to work? Oh, is this still broken? So no. So Barry fixed it. Okay. But today I've not had time to, because we got this build with a load of bug fixes in just before we clicked play for this. Yeah. So I have not. You haven't tested it. Okay. So anything could happen. So, press the button. What could possibly go wrong? Because it was all working beautifully, other than this. Yes! Oh, it worked, it's so beautiful. If that hadn't worked, you'd just have seen a long, incoherent stream of numbers. It would have been its ID in Unity. So there we go, yes, directions. Awesome. I'm just inconceivably excited about directions. And at the moment, it's only that one quest that uses them, yes, but we've got to task this sprint to go. The technology is now there. The technology is there, so we'll be going and adding those into a load of different quests this sprint and kind of as we go on. Those that spec for the directions is the single piece of design I'm most proud of in Sunless Skies. No one's going to care. It was something that when people were requesting it on the forums, it's like I wanted to say yes, and we're thinking about it, but also not wanting to promise in case it was something that we couldn't deliver. Behind the scenes, it's really complicated. There's a lot going on there. Barry did a great job on it. And there's little fiddly bits, like getting it to work in prose is one thing, and getting it to work in the journal, that's a whole other thing. Yeah. So I think that's our tour of the trade system. Oh, there are some questions. More questions. Let me have a look. Bomb along as we're answering questions. Let me see, what have we got here? Will there be cross-region bargain prospect opportunities? Basically, yes. So when you pick up a prospect in a hub, currently it will always be leading you to a port in that region. However, you might want to take that prospect, and then if you went to another region, you might find bargains there that let you complete it. So we're not trying to force people into crossing regions to complete prospects. But if you are going cross region, you'll probably have you might have more opportunities to
turn prospects into big profit by combining them with a bargain. Floaty text is literally the feature that sold me on Skies. Yeah, it's, we just love it. It's so nice.
Everybody loves that.
Yeah. I want so badly for the sun to be floaty text. So do I, my friend. So do I. How did you get the date on the screen? Ah, that was a...
Well, there's two ways. You send out your bat, which of course costs supplies, but he will then... There we go, it's the 6th of April now.
There you go.
And also when you approach a port and you get the floaty text,
message, yeah.
I'm pretty certain it says it above that too.
We do want to put it somewhere where you can check it though, as well. Yeah, we will find a way to do that. Because it will become more relevant, I think, now bargains and prospects are in too. Thank you for directions. Someone has typed that in all caps, and so they are at least a fraction as excited as I am, which makes me very happy.
Let's see if the back finds. It said Prosper was north.
Are you testing it? This would be hilarious.
I have already tested it. And
okay.
It worked perfectly. Oh,
it would be hilarious if you get there and this is like Traitor's Wood or something. Oh, Cantankerous attack. It's fine. It'll be fine. Very slow. Grumpy but slow. Just thinking what we're working on at the moment. We're working on some Eleutheria ports at the moment, including a couple of the ports that we've developed in collaboration with Kickstarter backers. Ooh, that's...
Tell you what, this is going to give this guy
a
chance to catch up with me.
Ooh, there's no dodging the shotgun, friend. We are probably going to be making some tweaks to Terra and when Terra events trigger. Just we had a really interesting bit of player feedback where a not insignificant number of people kind of didn't realise that the approach of the frozen corpse was Terra related.
Yes, some guys were like, "Oh, come on in."
Yeah, because so we're going to kind of change things around a bit so that's clearer, I think. Yes, we've been doing a lot of work on discoveries and spectacles as well, which are going to be fun. And we've got more, started working on more kind of implementation of our segment design, so putting in spawn groups and discovery spawn points in and stuff, so that the segments are telling the story of that segment and creating these kind of interesting situations like, here is a whole place with rocks that you can mine, but it happens to be where all the Cantankerous go on holiday. This week I also had to decide what the collective noun for Cantankerous was.
And what is it?
For a while it was an embitterment, but I think I've gone with a disgruntlement. So a lot of Cantankerous is a disgruntlement of Cantankerous.
I like that. And this is something now that all the previous shops, some have been retired and there's new shops now, this will be something that players are thinking of can I get the items, not just to deal with prospects and bargains, but for quests. So you probably saw there that you can get stained glass for...
yes.
Now then, there is actually one quest here where you need stained glass as well as the bronze wood.
That was a lucky bit of
I know, that was
of what's name there. That's fine. I think that's fine.
And there's another, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's another item which you do need for a quest. And again, you can get it through your bargains.
And this is, you can often get it through bargains. Yeah, so it's less reliable, but you might be able to find some of those things. And sometimes we'll tweak quests to require more reliable goods. And sometimes it's going to be best to go to another region if you want to stock up reliably on something. Have you managed to fill up the whiffles of cargo space?
I have, and the reason my number is not there is because that's one of our bugs with the font. I don't know what to get rid of.
I mean, how important is fuel really? Because everywhere sells fuel, so as long as you can make it to the next port, you only need enough fuel to get you that far. It'll be fine.
I'm a fuel hog.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, I think that's everything.
We've shown you everything, I think, there is to know about prospects and bargains.
Yeah, I think so. We're really excited to hear people's feedback on it and start making kind of tweaks and fiddles and corrections to it. and start telling you more
It's still not
stories with it. It's still not been a month. It's a big game.
But like Chris said, when there are new bargains available, it will appear on this tooltip in red. You can't miss it.
Yeah, it's a nice big new bargains are available sign. Yeah, can't miss it. Okay, fab. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. We're hoping to do more of these kind of playthrough videos in the future. This was really fun, actually.
Yes.
I like seeing it on the big screen.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I also got the very enjoyable experience of hearing you swear when you were getting everything set up, and you are one of the finest swearers I have ever heard. It is. Is
it the northern accent?
It is. It's partly that, but there's genuine expertise behind the swearing.
I'm a
brilliant.
pro.
It was it was like
I
looking
don't
at
know I'm doing it though. I did not know.
It's like enjoying a Matisse, a Matisse of profanity. Okay, yeah. So thank you very much for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you next time.
See you soon. Bye. Oh no.